Thank you for staying with us and welcome to the Twitter Jabs too. My name is Agi Owase and we are continuing the conversation in regard to the UNEB 2022 examinations. Now, just like I mentioned earlier, last week on the 18th of August, which was Thursday, UNEB released the timetables for PLE, UCE and UACE examinations that will be taking place this year. Now, on the 14th of October 2022, the UCE candidates will start their examinations and they will end on the 18th of November 2022. Now for PLE candidates, they start on the 7th of November 2022 and end on the 9th of November 2022. And for UACE candidates, they start on the 18th of November 2022 and end on the 9th of December 2022. Just re-echoing what we already talked about in the Twitter Jabs one. Joining me at the center of this conversation is Jennifer Kalule Musamba, who is the Principal Public Relations Officer with Uganda National Examinations Board. Welcome, madam, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Aggie, and thanks to SEETV for inviting me. A very good morning to all our viewers.
It's an honor to have you. Well, to start with, what's the current status of the examination preparations from schools as far as UNEB is concerned?
Well, right now, what we are doing, first and foremost, we want to say thank you so much to all the parents out there who have done all they could to make sure that the learners go back to school, and they went ahead and registered them. Want to say a special thank you to the head teachers, to our heads of centers where our learners have to be registered. Many of them had to expand their centers because we had an overwhelming number of candidates, so we've had to have centers expand to be able to accommodate the increasing number of candidates. And they've been able to do that. And of course, the UNEB team, which was there to make sure that all is done well. We are working, it's work in progress. And of course, also the district officials who help us a great deal to do the registration at the district level, especially for primary level for PLE. We work a lot with the district inspectors of schools, municipal inspectors of schools, and city inspectors of schools to help us do the registration, make sure all is done well. So we are grateful to everybody, and like we say, it is a joint responsibility. And to the media, you've been there for us, trying to make sure everybody is well informed. I could see all the tweets going out there. Very grateful as a board. We see that both the integrity and security of examinations as well as the health and safety of learners is a joint responsibility. And what we want to emphasize here is the responsibility of everybody. Everybody has a role to play. The parents have a role, the learners have a role, the teachers, UNEB, and then the media, and all the stakeholders. And so far, so good. Everybody is trying their best to make their own contribution, and want to thank the Lord for that.
Yeah, that's very commendable. Now, what curriculum was used to set these exams? Is it the abridged curriculum? Is it the full curriculum?
Well, we go according to the Ministry of Education guidelines, and according to the Ministry of Education guidelines, we are using the abridged curriculum. So we are going to set according to the abridged curriculum, which was provided by the National Curriculum Development Center under the Ministry of Education and Sports. So that's the curriculum we are going to use for the examinations. Well,
some people out there have, their reservations with the abridged curriculum, saying it does not cover entirely everything. So what would you say about that?
One thing I can say is that the people who sat together to put this together are the professionals, and you had a combination of it's a combined team from the Ministry of Education, from UNEB, from the National Curriculum Development Center, and they are, because the National Curriculum Development Center is basically the mother of the curriculum. So if you did, like for instance, just take you here, if you write a story, for instance, and you want to to edit it, you know the content of the story, you know the gist of the story. So if I am the sub-editor, I would have no reason to think that you did not give me the content. If you are the reporter or something like that. If it's your original story, you know the gist of the matter. So because it is the National Curriculum Development Center, which did preside over the abridged curriculum, and they were the original authors of the original curriculum, I think people have no cause to worry, really. They are the authors of the original curriculum, and they know the gist of the matter. What are the critical things? What should our learners know by this point in time? What competencies are we looking out for? And I can assure the public out there that I'm very sure, I am certain that what's going to happen, that we are going to have the best assessments, and it's going to be credible. And of course, for us as a board, we also aspire to make sure that our assessment is credible, because we aspire to become a recognized center of international certified assessment. So wherever you go internationally, regionally, our certificates must be recognized, and we will do anything, whatever it takes, to make sure we maintain the integrity of our examination, but also to make sure that the credibility of our certificates is maintained.
So the public has nothing to worry about in regard to the bridge curriculum?
They do not have to worry about that. What we want to encourage the parents and the teachers to support the learners right now, make sure that the remaining time they are able to do the necessary reading, teaching and learning takes place. Let them be in good health, support them, encourage them, motivate them. They may have come back, maybe some of them are disappointed with their mocks results. Go on, encourage them, pray with them, pray for them, show them that yes, you can, you are able to do it. Once you give them all the motivation, give them the support that they need, they will definitely make it, because they have the competencies. As long as effective teaching and learning takes place, and we've covered the syllabus, I can assure you we shall make it. The learners are going to, they'll make it definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is UNEB handling the issue of late registration of candidates, misspelling of their names, as well as some students missing on the displayed register?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, we had a series of registration. We opened up registration in February. So we had about 4 months of registration, February up till May. That was early registration. Thereafter, we had a season of late registration for 1 month. We gave them a grace period of 1 month up till end of June. And then thereafter, we did close the registration. The official registration was closed. However, after cleaning our data, we asked the head teachers to display the registers at the schools. And this is a requirement in the UNEB Act 2021. We are required to display the registers for candidates so they can be able to view and establish if there are any changes. First and foremost, confirm that you have been registered, because something could have happened somewhere. And I've seen this happen in schools around Kampala. For some reason, some candidates have not been registered for some reason. But we are going to rectify that. And that is the reason why we have this exercise. So confirm that your child has been registered. After confirming registration status, look at the correctness of the biodata. The names, have they been correctly spelled? Look at the date of birth. Look at the gender. Somebody may be female and then they put as male. Look at the picture resolution. Is it a clear picture? If it's a clear picture, then that's okay. In case it's not clear, you can ask the school to take another picture. They may ask you to pay a fee or something, but I think it is worth it, because this is what is going to be on the slips and the certificates of the learners. So it is very critical for you to make sure that the picture that is taken right now is clear. It speaks to your child. And then for the learners in secondary school, look at the papers, the subjects you're going to take. If you're doing history paper 2, history paper 3, are they the ones you've been registered for? Those are the kind of things that we really want them to look out for. They look minor, but they are very critical, because at the end of the day, you want a certificate which is going to portray yourself and what you actually did. And I heard you speak earlier about the need to ensure that our documents speak to themselves. The birth certificate. That's why we insist when candidates are registering at PLE, kindly bring a copy of the birth certificate so that you can be registered in the same way. As your name appears on the birth certificate, it should appear the same way on the PLE certificate, and later on the UCE and the UACE certificate and any other documents that you may have. So it's very important for at this point in time to help our learners get these documents right.
Yes. Given the fact that the exams commence on the 14th of October, that's about in a month's time, is it enough time for these issues to be rectified, and also the fact that right now students are on holiday?
Well, it's not such a big thing. We aren't anticipating so many mistakes, but they are there. And once they do them, what happens is that once there's a mistake, what the parent or the learner needs to do is to go to the school and inform them there's this mistake. Maybe many of them it's a single eye missing. Like you see Moki-san, it's one eye, but then they've split as two eyes. Or date of birth, maybe somebody was born on 4th May, and then they put 5th April or something like that. And all the centers have what they call, they have a page on our portal. They can all access our portal, and on the portal there's an amendment form. So you just need to say Jennifer's name has been misspelled. Instead of double N, it is single N. So just go into the amendment form, indicate the change. Let's say it's in the date of birth, indicate what you want us to change, and the moment you upload, our team will be able to do it immediately. So there's no we have enough time, but we're asking them to do it until the end of September. That's the last term, until the end of September, so we can have the last 2 weeks to do the cleaning up and making sure we do all the preparations. Because let's say, for instance, if someone has not been registered, we don't have much time to prepare for that. We have to do the packaging, we have to make sure we prepare for them. Let's say it's a, whatever, even if it's a science subject or it's somebody's getting into a center, because we pack according to the data that has been given to us. So this data is very important for us. It's what guides us in preparation for the examinations. We need it in good time, but at the same time, we also need to ensure that the learners have the correct data inputted in there.
Yes. So in the event that some learners are unable to get, these mistakes rectified, is it possible eventually when the results are back for those mistakes to be rectified?
Yeah, it's also possible to rectify them after results are back. And first of all, before right now, we also have the SMS option. You can go into your phone, your phone handset, make sure you know the full index number of the learner. So you type REG, as in short of registration, that's REG, leave space, put the full index number of the learner, send to 6600. That is REG, REG, leave space, put full index number, send to 6600. And you'll be able to get instantly the status of the learner. However, you will see status of the learner, their names, index number, whether if they are registered, you see the gender, and whether they are private sponsored or government sponsored. Why we do this? Because there are some parents who are duped. They're in private schools and they're paying private fees, but the head teachers register them as government owned, as government sponsored. Yeah. So it's kind of it's kind of cheating the parents. So we want to make sure the parents get to know if they've been cheated or not. In case they've been cheated, then they can, or corrective action can be taken. Yes. So it's very important. But even after the examinations, yes, you can still rectify. Especially, I think we usually give them about the first 2 weeks after the release of the results. Make sure that you cross-check and then inform us. Thereafter, you have to pay a fee for that. However, we prefer that you do it now, because I can assure you, once the results are out, there's so much excitement, either excitement or disappointment. Nobody looks at those details. We've seen this happen. Until they're registering for UC and they're like, my P7 PASSIP has a mistake. And it's 4 years later, many of them are coming over here to tell us right now. And at times we've printed the certificates and you can't change or something like that. So once you have correct data right now, then you can be able to have a good certificate, and we can also be able to print them in time. Because at times we have, when there are so many changes to make, when we print them in a batch, we can't print the certificates in time. But the moment we have all the data corrected, we can be able to print the certificates in time.
Yes. You talked about there is a certain fee that is expected of one to pay in case they want to get their issues rectified after. Yeah. How much is that?
It's 50,000.
50,000 Uganda shillings. Yes. So for anyone out there, they've made it absolutely clear. So let's talk about the issue of examination malpractice and how UNEB is handling it, because at the moment it seems to be unavoidable.
What do you mean unavoidable?
Because it happens every other year. Because this year, UNEB comes on to say everyone who takes part in examination malpractice will be penalized. And then, yes, at the end of the day, when results are when results are out, we're always seeing others cancelled because of examination malpractice. So this is something that has been happening over the years, year in, year out. That's the reason why I'm saying it seems to be unavoidable. So how is UNEB handling that?
First and foremost, that is the vice that almost all examination bodies all over the world have to deal with. Even schools, even at universities, malpractice takes place. However, how you manage it is what matters a lot. And for us at the Uganda National Examinations Board, we are doing our best. And I can assure you it's not as bad as it used to be. We put in place security measures. And that is why you said, even in our theme, we insist that integrity and security of examinations. We look at the integrity of the people who are handling the examinations, integrity of the people who are conducting, as well as the security of the examinations. It is very critical for us. And we have different measures. First and foremost, there are different types of malpractice. There is what we call external assistance. This is what is very common. External assistance happens when a paper comes when somebody, maybe an invigilator or a teacher, comes and assists a candidate. And this usually happens when the paper has been delivered at the school, and there's one copy for the school, so they pull it out, and then they go maybe and make photocopies, sit somewhere in the staff room or somewhere, write answers, and then come and give the learners the answers. That is the external assistance. And in many cases, especially for the case of the primary school children, it is very easy to detect when someone has helped those kids. First and foremost, you're going to bring the answers maybe a few minutes to the end of the paper, and some of them may end up panicking. They're in a panic mode, and they're going to end up crossing even the correct answers, and they put the wrong answers. We had a situation sometime when somebody, I think, there's a way they put wrong answers for the answer for number 1 was put for number 2, number 3, number 4, and it went on like that. And the kids cancelled all their correct answers and put the wrong answers. Like a question, for instance, give an example of the answer was supposed to be Nile Hamites, I think, and then Nile Hamites, and they were asking them an example of an identification in Uganda. Answer they were giving passport. So where there was supposed to be Nile Hamites, they put passport. What was supposed to be Nile Hamites, they put passport, they put Nile Hamites. And they went on putting wrong answers, and the whole center was cancelled. And these kids were brilliant. They had given correct answers. So I want to urge teachers there, invigilators, once you're interested with UNEB examinations, please be somebody of integrity. Don't indulge in examination malpractice. You have your certificate, but you are ruining the destiny of this child who has a whole lifetime ahead of them. I'd rather the students get low marks, but when they are their own marks, they'll get their own certificates other than casting them. It's very disappointing. It's very...
Isn't it really unfair that you get to cancel, the entire center? And, if let's say it's the school administration that has instigated examination malpractice, isn't it fair to the students? I mean, you should probably hold the school administration accountable, and the children are the students are innocent.
And then? Because you see why we're giving them the timetable. They are clear instructions. This time round, we try to release the timetable in time with all the instructions, so the candidates can know what kind of practice can results into malpractice, what can lead to cancellation, what can lead to a candidate the results being withheld. We want them to know all these things. Let's say copying. Somebody who has copied, somebody who has been copied from. Both of you are culpable. If I look at your script and you look, and you don't even have no idea looked at your script, but the moment the examiner recognizes that I copied from you, you are culpable. I am culpable. So as a candidate, I'm responsible for making sure that I cover my paper. I ensure that it's secure and that kind of thing. So everybody has a responsibility, and we want the learners to know what their responsibility is, and want everybody to be accountable to what they do. Then the other kind of malpractice we have is impersonation, where somebody can say, let's say a child from S3, S2, S1, they hire somebody to come and sit for another candidate. That's impersonation. It happens frequently, but we get them eventually, because that's why we have the displays. And right now we take pictures. We have an album where we have the candidates and where they're going. And there's also a sitting plan indicating Jennifer's picture, where she's going to be seated, Aggie's picture, where she's going to be seated. So our scouts should be able to go in there and see, is this Aggie's picture? Is she the one? Or whatever it takes. But somehow we are able to get them. The worst form of malpractice is leakage. And this is what, as a board, we try very much to guard against. Leakage means a paper is leaked before it even comes out. Let's say on the eve of mathematics paper, it's all over WhatsApp. And you're like, oh my God, is this the paper? That is leakage. That is what we guard against jealously. That is when you've touched Mr. Dongo's eye. You really want to touch his eye? Cause a leakage, and we guard against this. We put in place security measures to make sure it does not happen. We do our own printing. We print our examinations, and the team that does the final printing, the editing, the packing, and everything, they are kept incommunicado in the factory for 65 days. Before the examinations, they don't know what's happening. They don't even they watch the TV, they get the news, they get everything, but they do not communicate. They don't communicate with their families. They don't have phones on them. Don't go in with jewelry, with rings or anything. And there are jammers out there. You cannot communicate with anybody. So they are the ones who know what is in the paper, but they cannot communicate it to anybody because they have no means of communicating. And this far, we have been able to guard against leakage for the last few years. We have have our own containers which are guarded jealously. We work with security, with the military police. We work with the police, ordinary police, to make sure that we guard the examination jealously, and we deliver the papers to the schools to make sure that they don't open it, especially except for the secondary schools. For the secondary schools, the head teachers come for them, and we give them limited time between where they pick the papers from to their centers, to ensure they do not have time to pass by a photocopying machine, open it up, and all that. And it's all well said. There are lots of security measures, and we've been able to guard against this. Where it has happened, at times at the release of examinations, where there's some doubt, we may withhold some results, and these are suspected cases of malpractice. However, they are able to defend themselves before a tribunal, and after defending themselves, some of them actually get out of it. Eventually, the tribunal may release some results if you prove that actually you did not indulge in malpractice. It was a case, maybe a question paper came in your mocks and somehow you all knew about it and then took a malpractice. But actually, maybe you had crammed it or something like that. So there are cases whereby results which have been withheld initially are eventually released because they are given a fair hearing, and where there is doubt, the results are released.
Yes. Let's talk about, because UNEB has come out to urge parents that this year they should be able to attend briefing of their children. Why is that?
We want them to attend the briefing of the children so they can be able to appreciate what goes on in there, what they should anticipate. The timing, for instance, the day candidates, the day school candidates. The parents need to appreciate it is important for them to be at school early. It's important for them to ensure that the health of their children is guaranteed. We said health and safety. If you need them to wear their masks, if you need them to, to have drinking water or whatever it takes, but they need to appreciate and be part of the entire process. We think that way they will be able to play their role much better and support the teachers, support the school administration, and like we said, it is a joint responsibility. So we want them to play their role and appreciate what actually takes place in there.
Is it feasible, given the fact that, some parents are up country and then their children are probably studying from Kampala or somewhere else, in a different district? Is it feasible? We
are not making it mandatory, but we propose that where possible, they can attend the briefing.
Yes.
And of course, some schools may not even have the facilities to accommodate the parents, but there are schools which can even do the Zoom meetings. But also, for those who are like up country, many of them, their children go to schools nearby, so they can always go there. However, that's why we are saying that we've hung the registers. Right now, when you go to school, if your child is going back to school, go to the school administration, look at the register, talk to the doors or to the teacher or to the head teacher or whoever is available. Talk to them. You're going to see the instructions in the timetable. What does this mean? There's a lot of time for parents also to be ready and be part of the examination process of their children. So that is why we had to release a timetable early to make sure everybody plays their role and everybody knows what is involved.
Okay. Now we do see James Turiatemba, the manager in charge of examination management at UNEB, mentioned that you're assessing the possibility of increasing the remuneration of invigilators, scouts, and special needs interpreters to keep up with the current living expenses. Now, was this their request, or it's a UNEB mandate?
Well, you're looking at the realities on the ground.
Yes.
These people have to transport themselves. They have to feed themselves. We give them a subsistence allowance. So you look at what transport fares have gone up everywhere. The meals have gone up everywhere. So realistically speaking, we want them to do a good job. So if you want them to do a good job, then you have to make sure you equally remunerate them. So that's why we are looking at all that. And we are hoping that we shall be able to accommodate so that they can also be happy. Because if they don't do a good job, then they can easily be duped. They can easily be misled into supporting malpractice. So we have to make sure that they are well remunerated so they do not get involved in examination malpractice.
So it's more of the issue of trying to mitigate mitigate them from involving themselves in examination malpractice, because sometimes they ally with the school administrations too.
Yeah, if somebody comes and give them a package of whatever amount they're giving them and you're giving them peanuts, I mean, we are human. You look at the various options, the temptations, but once they are well facilitated, then the temptations are minimized.
Okay. Now we also do see, I would like you to clarify for the viewer out there, because I've already mentioned when the UCE, PLE and UACE candidates will be starting and completing their exams. But I would love to get that confirmation from you.
Okay, fine. And first and foremost, I want the UCE candidates are going to be briefed on the 14th of October. That's when they're going to do their briefing, but they will start. They're going to be briefed on the 14th of October. They will start I think the real sitting is going to be on the 17th. That's when it's starting. Rather,
yes.
That's October. Yeah, October, yes, and it's going on until November 18th. And then the PLE candidates are going to be briefed on the 7th of November, and the real sitting of examination is going to be on the 8th and the 9th of November. The UACE candidates, that is Senior 6, are going to be briefed on the 18th of November, and this is going to go on until the 9th of December. That's the time for the examination, when examinations are going to take place. So we encourage the parents, the learners, everybody to make sure you do your responsibility. One thing I want to say is that out of you, so we have a total of 1,280 candidates who have registered for this year's examinations. And this is an increase of about 7.7%. However, the other critical thing I want to emphasize also is the fact that 54% of these candidates are sponsored by government and 44% are privately sponsored. What does this mean? This basically means that more people are having trust in the government facilities, which is a good thing. And because of this, I want to say a great thank you to all our teachers who are in the government-aided schools. That shows that there's more confidence in our schools, in the government-aided schools. That's why more people are actually going to the government-aided schools. We have 54% of the entire candidature sponsored by government. And as a board, we are grateful that government takes care of all these candidates. Government takes care of the PLE candidates. You see, the universal primary education candidates. They use candidates universal secondary education, and those in UPOLET whom government pays for, they pay for all their registration fees, and as a board we are very grateful that those fees come in handy to help the registration process and the entire examination process.
We do see that this year the number of USCE students or candidates registered was reduced or has reduced by 496. That is from 98,392 in 2020 to 87,896. Why is that?
We cannot comprehensively say what the problem could be. However, like we alluded to earlier, a study which we did before the 2020 examinations indicated that there were a number of learners at that level who had gone into small-scale businesses. Many of them had gone into working, and after they're like saying, well, I was studying to get money and now I'm already getting the money, or something like that. So that could be one of the reasons, because some of them are really sort of like, young adults really, and they feel like maybe they've gone into salon business, or they're doing some business here and there, some mobile money, some phone, they're selling some phone accessories, as the case may be, whatever they could, maybe they're selling in a shop or something, but for them they feel like they're now receiving money and they were studying because they wanted to get some money. But we want to encourage adults and elders and all those who are responsible, our leaders out there. Let's do our best to encourage these learners to go back to school where possible. Even if you don't come back to the mainstream education, you can do the vocational studying, because at the end of the day, somebody needs to have this kind of certification. It is very critical. Our kind of employment, most employers really, they're going to ask you for a document. You may have all the skills and everything, but they will eventually require a document. And don't also limit your options, because it's a global village. You may want to go somewhere and start working elsewhere. You won't say, for me, I have all the skills, I have the experience and everything. So let's be able to encourage our learners, much as they've been able to get some little money. This is just a small time, a short time thing. They need to make sure they get something which is more permanent. Whatever it takes, you need to have this certificate. The UCE, PLE, UACE certificates are very important. They provide you with a foundation. And because as a board, we want to thank the God that we are globally recognized. No one has ever presented a UNEB certificate anywhere on the globe, whether it's at a university or whether it is with an employer, UN organization, whatever it is. Whenever somebody presents, as long as you verify the document, all they want is for UNEB to verify it is our document, this is our candidate, we are the ones who issued this document. People are always they always receive attention and they are recognized. So our documents are globally recognized. So I want to encourage parents to make sure that your children at least get the basic minimum. Let them get at least a UNEB certificate at PLE level, UCE level, and preferably at USCE level. And then thereafter, they can be able to do other vocations. But it's very critical for them to get this basic certification.
Yes, there is an individual, there's a lady called Anne Wawiri, and she was responding to a tweet that UNEB put out, and she said that she's worried of the candidates of Senior 6 who did not study Senior 5, and he said the automatic promotion, especially for science subjects, like the candidates who are doing PEM or doing PCM, she's worried for them. Why is it that, you know, they were promoted to Senior 6 and now they're going to sit exams even when they have not been able to cover the entire syllabus?
Yeah, I think that is the essence of the abridged curriculum, and all that was put into consideration. And when this curriculum was being abridged, they're looking at the number of hours, the number of contact hours that a learner has had with a teacher. How many hours do they need? What do they need to effectively study that? I want to assure you that the people who have been doing this are professionals. They're professional teachers. They know what it takes to for a candidate or for a student to, you know, to be able to effectively study and learn. And that's why the Minister of Education was giving guidelines that we minimize certain activities like the sports, maybe whatever time we're doing those extracurricular activities. Much as they are critical, you have to minimize them and see how best to balance them. But that was the whole essence. It's not just even the Senior 6, even the P7s, even the Senior 4. I have a daughter who is also in that kind of program. They it's kind of like a crash program, but life has got to go on. Somehow we can't just sit back and say, well, there was COVID, the world is moving on. And we want to thank the Lord that the Minister of Education and that the President gave us a go-ahead to make sure the learners go back to school and life has gone back to normal. We want to thank the Lord that, you know, we have some bit of sanity right now, and that's what we want to encourage everybody. In case there's immunization going on for COVID, against COVID-19, please do take your child for immunization just to guard against any eventuality, because we don't want to get those kind of eventualities. And I believe the Minister of Health has approved, WHO has approved, so we can go ahead and take our children for immunization so we guard against any eventuality.
Oh yes, and as we wrap up the conversation, would like to get your final remarks in regard to UNEB 2022 examinations.
Thank you so much. UNEB 2022 examinations, integrity and security in the management of this examination, as well as the health and safety of learners, is a joint responsibility. Want to ask anybody out there to please play your role. If you're a parent, if you're a candidate, if you're a teacher, a head of a center, make sure you play your role. Contribute your role. But for the rest of us, I want us to give psychosocial support to the learners. Let's pray for them. Let's pray with them. We are going to have an official dedication of all the examinations, said it before. It's going to be, I think, towards end of September or early October, before the examinations begin. And want to dedicate all the candidates, want to dedicate all the learners of this year, and want to ask everybody to be doing it in your families, in your churches, in your mosques. Let's pray for the candidates, because we know that with God all things are possible, and wisdom comes from above, from the Lord. So want us to be part of the process, want to support the candidates, support the learners, be encouraging to them, and to the teachers, please, don't be harsh to the learners. If a parent comes or a learner comes and say they want to make an amendment in their registration biodata, please go ahead and send it to UNEB. We are going to make sure we make the corrective action. So we ask all the heads of centers, we ask the teachers. There's a reason why we've asked these people to amend their biodata. Let's give them the opportunity. So you can have correct data out there, and let's make sure that everybody has correct data inputted. To the parents, please confirm your child has been registered. In case they're not registered, contact UNEB. By the way, yes, you can contact us at UNEB. In case you have any challenge, we have a toll-free number. It is 0800 211 077. That's 0800 211 077. That's our toll-free number. Please feel free to call us up for in case you have any challenge. We shall be able to respond to you. We also have WhatsApp numbers where you can be able to send your messages and we shall respond to you. There's 0760 731 261. That's 0760 731 261. And then 0776 865 556. 0776 865 556, and finally 0776 993 335. Those are WhatsApp numbers. You can send a message on the WhatsApp. Let us know what's happening out there, and we are here to serve. We shall respond to you.
Yes.
To the candidates, please, you can make it. I can assure you, you have what it takes. With God, all things are possible. So make sure do your learning, do your studying, do your revision, be obedient. Many candidates, especially in senior 6, senior 4, tend to be rowdy when it gets to time of examinations. Please.
The excitement kicks in.
The excitement kicks in. You're not above the law. Make sure you follow the instructions, and at school, be disciplined, and the Lord will bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jennifer,
Thank you for
joining
me.
us
Again,
this
I'm
morning.
grateful to the CTV. Thank you so much for the opportunity you've given us. May the Lord richly bless you.
Amen. This has been Ms. Jennifer Kalule Musamba, and she's the Principal Public Relations Officer, Uganda National Examinations Board. And definitely she was weighing in on the matter in regard to UNEB 2022 examinations. Just for a little bit of clarification, in case you want to verify a candidate's registration status on your mobile phone, because that provision is there. This is how you can verify. You type REG, that is reg, leave space, then the full student's name and index number, for example, PLE 000-123/001, and send it to 6600. And for UCE and UACE, you type reg, leave space, full student name, and then index number, for example, U0888-001, and you send it to 6600. That is if you want to verify a candidate registration status on your mobile phone. All those provisions are in place, and just like Ms. Jennifer said, take it upon yourselves, and now that students are on holiday, to be able to verify your registration. It's better done, what they say, better late than never. There's still some time, so about a month also until the commencing of examinations. Ensure that your child, if you're out there as a parent, ensure that your child is registered. Go to the schools and check the registrars and check the names and every other detail, and make sure that it's the correct information of your child, so that you can avoid any other eventualities. Well, that is all we had for you on this segment of the Twitter Jabs 2. Coming up is our views, and we have a very great conversation coming up with the ladies. So keep tuned, stay watching Sunrise at Sea on CTV.